Arguably the greatest rock and roll band of all time, the Beatles they're out with it's 60 years that their movie was done, A Hard Day's Night. And could you do me a favor, Brianna, and roll this for me? I appreciate that. They're still a major influence on music and film. Coming up, there'll be a presentation by Beatles expert Bruce Spizer talking about his book titled The Beatles' Hard Day's Night, and a whole lot more. Plus, you get to see the film. Author Bruce Spizer is internationally recognized as an expert of one of the most influential bands of all time. Bruce is here today talking about the book. The book is called, obviously, A Hard Day's Night.
Yes.
This is your 16th book. I mean, when we say you're an expert, I mean, you actually are a real Beatles expert.
Yes, and it's a lot of fun because, you know, a lot of the skills I have as an attorney, I use writing books. I'm used to interviewing people, reviewing documents, and then wording something in a way that people can follow and be entertained by.
And you've been in the music industry before. I mean, back in the 80s, you were a manager for how many bands?
Well, just the Cold, but
just
that was
the Cold.
enough.
Okay. Well, and they did pretty well.
Yes.
But what was your fascination with the Beatles? Other than, I mean, we all and I mean every musician is really influenced by the Beatles.
Yes, I mean there are two kinds of musicians today. You know, those influenced by the Beatles and liars. You know, let's face it. And you know, when I first heard "I Want to Hold Your Hand," it just had this excitement and this freshness. And heard it once on the school bus radio, going to Newman in the morning, and then after that began hearing it more and more, and just really got hooked from the excitement of the music.
Were you here when the Beatles came to New Orleans?
I was, but I wasn't able to go that night because it was one of my sister's 16th birthday, and she was into Barbra Streisand. You know how it goes.
Yeah.
So I thought I'd see him the next time, but there was no next time.
No. And their run was very short. It was only like 9 years.
Yes, you know, but in that time, I mean, they were early days. They were releasing 2 albums and 4 singles a year in the UK, even more in the US because of the way things were packaged. And, you know, and they knocked out 2 films. I mean, in 1964, they were in Paris, France for a couple of weeks. They come to the US for their first US visit, do the Sullivan Show 3 times, go back, record songs, film a movie, go on a tour, do a North American tour after that, and it was just incredible.
And this is the 60th anniversary of the movie Hard Day's Night.
Yes.
Which was kind of groundbreaking.
It really was. It was, you know, they jokingly called it the Citizen Kane of jukebox movies.
Or kind of like the first, you know, MTV movie or, you know, music video.
Well, the thing about it was when the Beatles were performing songs in the film, they were imaginatively shot. Director Dick Lester did a fabulous job, and he was the one who really brought that excitement. And then at the end of the film, they have this scene at the Scala Theater and all these quick cuts and girls screaming and jumping up and down and hugging each other. And the excitement was just tremendous. The other thing about the film that was prior to that film, the Beatles did not have respect in the adult community in the United States. 73 million people watched them on the Sullivan Show, but the TV critics lambasted the group as having no talent. But after this film, it was beyond dispute. The New York Times reviewed, "This might surprise you, but the Beatles' new film is a whale of a comedy." There were comparisons to the Marx Brothers, the Keystone Cops. Ringo was compared to Charlie Chaplin.
And then their music library is just, it's immense.
Oh, absolutely. That's the fun thing about writing about the Beatles, because, you know, you think you know everything and you do more research and you learn more. For instance, everyone thought the film made its debut in New York City on August 11th. That's not true. It actually debuted earlier in other communities, including Abbeville had it ahead of New York City. And there was an ad in the Abbeville paper that said, "Be one of the first in the state of Louisiana to see the Beatles' new film," and then in parentheses, "ahead of New Orleans and New York City."
All right, so you've got a showing of the movie on Friday. You'll do a talk at the Britannia Theater, then a second one on Sunday.
Yes.
And then on the 29th of August, that's a Thursday night at 7 o'clock, you'll be at the East Bank Regional Library out in Metairie.
That's correct.
All right, book is good. Thank you very much. All right, where are we going now?